Our universe is scary enough as it is. Now, imagine an infinite amount of other ones just around the corner. Here are the top 5 scary stories that prove parallel universes exist. Number 5 on this list is Taured. A pretty clear indicator that someone is from an alternate dimension or parallel universe is if they claim to be from somewhere that doesn't exist. That's pretty much what happened a few years ago with a man in Japan. BuzzFeed says, allegedly, this man told customs he was in Japan for business and had legitimate visa stamps, currency from multiple European countries, checks from an unknown bank, and a driver's license issued in Taured. He was sent to a hotel while things were sorted out, while 2 immigration officers stood outside of his hotel door. But when they went to check on him in the morning, he'd vanished. This was from 15 stories up above a busy street, so escaping through a window is very unlikely, if not impossible. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department searched but never located the man from Taured. So many questions arise from a story like this. Where is Taured? What did he need to do in Japan? Where did he go while he was being watched in the hotel, and how did he get out of there? Now that this guy disappeared, no one is gonna know the answer. I think the thing that I don't understand is if this guy wanted to keep his country secret, like he wanted to make sure that no one found out about it, then why did he show up to the airport with documents from that country? Like, if he was traveling from another universe, he has to know that wouldn't have worked. And one has to imagine that he didn't want us to know his true identity, because then he disappeared without telling anyone anything the next day. It all just seems super fishy and doesn't really add up. Unless he just screwed up super bad and picked up the wrong papers in the morning when he was traveling dimensions and coming to Japan. Oh, and okay, also another question. If he can move through dimensions and come into our universe and stuff, like, why couldn't he have just warped into Japan? Like, why did he need to use the airport? You'd think that air travel would be pretty archaic and unnecessary for a guy who just moved from, one universe to another one. Comment down below if you can think of any logical reasons as to why all of these things may have been the way that they were. I'm curious to hear what you guys can come up with. Number 4 on this list is the Green Kids. So this one could be an argument for a parallel universe or for aliens. I'll let you guys be the judge. BuzzFeed says, back in the 12th century, 2 children, a brother and sister, allegedly popped up in the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, England. Both had greenish colored skin, spoke an unknown language, wore bizarre clothing, and initially refused to eat any food other than raw beans. They were taken in, cared for, and eventually they adapted, developing a taste for food and losing the green hue in their skin. Shortly after, the boy became sick and died, but after learning to speak English, the girl explained that she and her brother were from a place where the sun didn't shine bright and it was perpetually twilight. She and her brother were there herding their dad's cattle when they heard some loud noise and were suddenly in a new place where they were eventually discovered in Woolpit. The girl grew up and integrated herself into her new surroundings, though it remained unknown how she and her brother got there. The girl went on to get married and live her life here in a dimension that might not have actually been her place of origin. So, what are we thinking here, guys? Alien or alternate universe? I mean, when I hear green skin and unknown language, I automatically think alien, but I mean, I guess that could all be another dimension as well. That might also explain why they would have been okay with just staying here too. Anyways, comment down below what team you guys are on, Team Alien or Team Alternate Universe. Number 3 on this list is Jophar Vorin. This is a man who ended up being shipwrecked in Germany, but originally came from a completely unknown land. BuzzFeed says, so this story goes, a peculiar guy popped up in a village where he was picked up and questioned by authorities. The only comprehensible language he spoke was a broken variation of German, but he said his name was Jophar Vorin and claimed to come from a part of the world known as Sakria. He conveyed that he was searching for his long-lost brother, whom he'd been separated from during a shipwreck. While he had geographical information regarding his home planet, such as 5 compartments known as Sakria, Aflar, Aslar, Oslar, and Uplar, he couldn't trace his route on shore, and he would wind up living in Berlin, where he was a topic of discussion amongst the scientific and simply curious communities. This one seems like one of those stories where you get sucked into a whirlpool or something and then come out the other side in a totally different universe. I guess that's what happened here with Jophar. I must admit that I kind of feel bad for him if all this is true, because if all of this is true, then not only did you get sucked into another universe and are now forced to live here, but I don't think that you're ever gonna find your brother, bro. Stories like this should make you just a little bit more aware on that next fishing trip, I think. Number 2 on this list is the wrong turn. Imagine taking a wrong turn and ending up in an entirely different universe. That may have been what happened in this next story. BuzzFeed says the ladies had been driving on black asphalt in the desert, but after taking a wrong turn, they said they found themselves driving on white cement surrounded by grain field and a lake. They spotted a building with a large neon sign making up illegible random squiggles, and as they pulled in for assistance, a large group of tall men poured out of the front door, seeming shocked and upset, waving their arms at the girls. Then the girls realized these tall men didn't even appear to be human, so they freaked out and drove off. While the girls were driving away, they noticed 4 peculiar egg-shaped automobiles mounted on tricycle-style wheels, and they were following them. They sped ahead until the mysterious vehicles were out of sight, and when they reached the canyon and drove all the way back through it, they'd somehow returned to the desert they were originally in, glad to be back, but unable to figure out the mysterious place that they'd just gone or how they arrived there. So how the heck did that all happen? Also, they didn't mention it in the story, but what desert and what canyon is this in? This is seriously dangerous if all of this is true. I don't want to be driving through a canyon late at night and then just appear in another universe. Especially not a universe that has a bunch of super tall alien dudes chasing me around in eggmobiles. The girls who went there swear what they claim is true, so just be aware if you're driving out late at night. And number 1 on this list is the Band Breakup. The Beatles, one of the greatest bands to ever create music, literally ever. They were incredible, and the thought of them making any more music together is just so intriguing. Apparently, in another universe, they did just that. BuzzFeed says in 2009, a man named James Richards was in Livermore, California, driving home from Turlock with his dog. He claims that when he pulled over to let the pup empty her bladder, she sprinted after a rabbit and he followed after her, but tripped, knocking himself unconscious. When James came to, he was next to an odd machine in the company of a man named Jonas, who claimed to have found his unconscious body while on a work trip for an interdimensional travel agency. While they were together, Jonas and Richards wound up chatting about the pop culture in their respective universes and discovered that not only did the Beatles also exist in this dimension, but they were all still alive and actively making music. Richards acquired a cassette tape labeled Everyday Chemistry, which contained Beatles songs that never existed in our dimension. He even uploaded the songs to a website and called it the BeatlesNeverBrokeUp.com. So if there's a universe where there are more Beatles albums, then sign me up, dude. This also opens the door to so many cool universes out there as well. Like, there's definitely a universe out there where the only thing that's different is like Dunkaroos never got discontinued. And you know, let's face it, that's the universe that I think we all should want to live in. But there you have it, folks. That is our list of the top 5 scary stories that prove parallel universes exist. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list and some other scary stories about universes that you guys might know about. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I'll catch you next time.